I knew better than to love again. Now I'm cold again, and I still only want you. Still want you, only you. And I know you don't deserve me. Oh, how can I find peace of mind when you act like you want me around when I'm not around? This ain't easy. This ain't easy. Let me know, just let me know what you want from me. What you want from me? 'Cause this ain't love, boy. You ain't dumb, boy. You ain't dumb. What you want from me? What you want from me? If this is love, what is it for? What is it for? Ooh, why you double back, staying two lanes tripping? Why you double back, staying two lanes tripping? Nobody's gonna see you fall. Why you double back, staying two lanes tripping? Hello, Ricki.
Hello.
Why do I hesitate when I can you hear me okay? Without
Yeah.
you. It's not easy to explain, just know I can't wait to move on to a place where I don't have to worry, escaping from the pain. You guys hold on. Deep in love with one who doesn't feel the same, where you don't have to worry if I'll be okay. Don't worry, love, I got you. Ricki, it looks like you might be on by yourself tonight. Lord indeed. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Hello, Ricki Simmons.
Hello. Hello.
Ricki Semone. You guys, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We tested earlier today, and all of a sudden we want to have some technical difficulties when it's time to go live. I want you all to relax and be ready for this interview that we have with the singer-songwriter, young 22-year-old Ricki Semone. For those of you who are tuning in to The Other Woman for the first time, The Other Woman magazine is published 3 times a year. And basically what we do is give women a voice and enlightenment on the other woman who lives within, who is often suppressed or silenced and just doesn't get a chance to live freely. We try to live the one life that we have without regrets, courageously. And we don't want to wait until we're gray-haired and in our golden years or 70 or 80 years old before we find the other woman and before we use our voice. So The Other Woman is a platform for women, and we're reaching out to younger women now to help them to understand that their voice is powerful. Ricki Semone wrote that song, Love Dumb. And it was written back in, what did you say, 2018, Ricki?
Yeah.
Back in 2018, She is only 22 years old, and we're going to find out what exactly does she know about being love dumb, and why does she know about being love dumb? I know many of us have been love dumb many times before. Some of us might be love dumb right now, but we're going to talk about love dumb. We're going to talk about a woman's value and some things that we could probably do to prevent, if possible, prevent being love dumb. Hey, Ricki.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. I know you have a busy schedule. Uh, Ricki is a student at the University of Alabama, and with everything going on today, with all the protesting, all the rallies, young people seem to really have a voice right now. It's a lot of young people out there with a lot of emotion, with a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts that they just want to share. So you actually did that with your songwriting. Was this the first song that you've ever written?
It's the first song that I recorded and that I put out.
Okay, so back in 2018, you decided to write Love Dumb. And the first time I heard Love Dumb, Ricki, I asked you, how in the world did you come up with some of those words? And I just want to share some of the words to the song. Okay. You say, I know better than to love again. Now I'm cold again, and I still only want you. And I know you don't deserve me. You also mentioned going to a better place. What is that better place that you're talking about?
It's the better place of feeling like I don't need someone to make me happy. It's the better place of not feeling hurt, not being affected so much by another person. Just being able to be my own happy.
So that better place is within. And you know, that is what the other woman tries to express, is happiness comes from within. Happiness is not going to come from another human being. You agree? It's not going to come from a job. It's not going to come from money. So if you can realize that at 22 years old, you've got a lot going on for you. At 22 years old, you already realize that happiness can't be found. So since you wrote that song in 2018, do you believe that you learned your lesson, or did you find yourself repeating your song, being love dumb again? Because sometimes that's what we do. We have to go through stuff over and over and over again. Were you ever again love dumb, or had you learned your lesson after that, after you released your single?
Yes. I've been love dumb again.
Okay. Yes. And thank you for being honest.
Yes.
And you know what? Love has a mind of its own. The heart has a mind of its own. And love is powerful. Love is powerful. And you mentioned in your song, how can I find peace of mind? You act like you want me around when I'm not around. It's not easy. Just let me know, what do you want from me? You ain't dumb. I kind of laughed at that part. What do you want from me? Because I can hear a very angry woman, not you per se, but all of us. We're not going to say, what do you want from me? We're going to say, what do you want from me? You know, because we can't figure it out. And I think we're trying to figure out someone else's mind when they really don't know what they want. So how can they tell you? You agree with that?
Yes, I agree.
So when you wrote that part, were you thinking to yourself, you act like you want me around when I'm not around? What did that mean? Explain that to us.
when it's like when you're involved with a guy, when you're involved with a man, it seems like they treat you any kind of way they want to treat you when you're around, when you're trying to do stuff for them, when you're trying to prove your love to them. But when you finally give up, when you finally just drop and like, I can't give you anymore, that's when it seems like they want to come back around and try to get you back in their lives. So,
You know what? As a young 22-year-old, I'm going to tell you and everyone else who's listening, they don't get any better when they get older. This is it. This is it. Sometimes when you pull away from a relationship, that's when they come back around. And I'm going to say this. When we get into a relationship, we give our all. We give everything. We are all in. Men like a challenge. They're referred to as hunters. Men like to go for the hunt. So if you're an easy woman, like many of us have been, we're there. What do you need? What can I do for you? Well, they didn't have texting back in my day, calling them, making sure everything was okay. We were there for them. But when it came time for them to be there for us, it was nothing, just absolutely nothing. So when you say going to a better place, we have to know, and this goes into our value. A woman has to know her value to know that we don't have to prove our love. You mentioned that when you were just describing it. Why did you feel it necessary to prove your love? Why were the words not enough? Why do you think women feel like we have to prove our love?
I feel like it's because we see that the love that we're giving value. So we probably try to give it in ways that we think it may be valued, but that doesn't really work either. So then I get back to that place of, what do you want from me? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And I think the question should be, what do we want from ourselves? What do we want? Because we lose ourselves. And Ricki, I don't want you to feel singled out like I'm talking to you. We're talking to whoever's watching. We're talking to women, young and old. And it's just not fair for a young woman to have to go through so many relationships and then realize her value. And that was the purpose of the article in the Other Woman magazine, the value of the vagina. Because when we know our value, not just the value of the vagina, but when a woman knows her value, we act differently. We look differently. We walk differently. And men recognize that. They sense that. So when a woman is in a space of desperation, for lack of a better word, when she's looking for a man or when she's lonely, men sense that also, just like they sense when we're confident, when we're secure, and we know. They know our power.
Mm-hmm.
When you wrote the song Love Dumb, tell us what the process was for it. You knew you wrote this song. You said this wasn't the first song that you wrote, but it was the first song that you recorded. What process did you go through from the thoughts? Because I'm always saying, as a writer, get the thoughts out of your head and on paper. How did you transfer those words on paper to a single? Share the process for those who might want to produce a song, or should I say want to record a song. Share with us what that journey was like.
Well, after I wrote the song, the next step is to go to a recording studio. So I went to the studio. Well, no, actually, you got to get the instrumental to the song first.
Okay.
Figure out what
kind of music you want.
Yeah, what you want to put your words to. So
okay.
Stars or YouTube, or find your own personal producer, which is easy. They're all over Instagram, social media, stuff like that. After that,
How did you find yours?
um, on Instagram,
Okay.
and I found his page where he lists all his beats, and I asked him how much for this one, um, and it's different versions. You can get MP3 files, WAV files, and all that type of stuff. Um, so, anyways, you buy the beat.
And you were 20 years old doing this, right? Were you 20?
Yes, I was 20.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So after you buy the instrumental, then that's when you go to a recording studio and you find someone who knows how to record and mix and master you. So it's all one process, and all that's done in the studio. So after you record your lyrics onto the song, then that's where the producer, he mixes and he masters your song, and there you go. It's really not a humongous process. You just got to find the right people to help you out.
Okay. Do you have any plans to write any other songs?
Oh, yeah, I do. I still
You
write.
do?
I still write songs all the time.
Okay. There's another phrase in your song, another statement. You say you hesitate when life is better without you.
Oh, I hesitate when I know life is better without you. Mm-hmm.
Explain. Go ahead.
Means like I hesitate to leave, even though I know that life will be so much better without this person. I'm still hesitant to leave, and at that time, I didn't know why.
Do you know why now? Since you said you repeated Love Dumb, and I've been there too, Ricki, you know that better place that you were talking about. You are so much better off. You have peace of mind. You're actually happy without that person. So what do you think the hesitation is? Why do we hesitate and stay in mess when we know that life would be better without them?
I think it's because that hope of they're going to change, and just seeing the potential in the man, and seeing that, okay, maybe if I just stick around a little longer, and maybe if I continue to love him and show him and try to show him my worth and try to show him my value, maybe, he'll change for me. Maybe it could be better. So it's just that small slither of hope that I think I hold on to.
And you realize now that change does not happen.
Yeah, no.
No. And the only thing that does change, the only thing that will change that situation is us. It's for us to change our actions and the way we act towards that situation. That's when everything changes. So being Love Dumb, how did you come up with that name? That name is like, it's perfect. And every woman can relate to being Love Dumb. As hurtful as it sounds, you describe a season in every woman's life. You were 20 years old to write Love Dumb. How did you come up with Love Dumb? And what were some of the other titles that you thought about before you chose that one?
I didn't choose another title because when I write songs, I tend to choose the title first a lot of times.
Oh, really?
And just when I was going through the whole relationship with the guy that I wrote the song about, I just kept telling myself, like, I'm dumb in love. I'm dumb in love. I know I am. I'm dumb in love. I kept telling myself.
So you were telling yourself that?
Yes.
You were telling, well, you know what? I listened to your song a lot, and I listened to it a lot today. And there was somebody in my mind that I just know life would be so much better without that person. So your song could be the anthem for getting over someone, for women to listen to that song. And sometimes we have to tell ourselves, we have to talk to ourselves, you know, you'll be better without him. You know, you don't need him. You know, you can be in a better place, but we continue to repeat and repeat and repeat over and over again until, and that's when the value of the vagina comes in.
Mhm.
When we give ourselves to a man, we have given them everything. We have
Yes.
nothing else to give. And I do a show on Wednesday nights with a guy, Vernon Watson,
Mhm.
and we talk about relationships. And Vernon Watson tells the truth about men. He actually allows women into the minds of a man. And he says it's all about sex for the man. It's all about sex. So when we give ourselves to them, that's why they're not there now, unless it's a committed relationship. But think about the guys you've been with, they're not in your life now.
Mm-hmm.
We give ourselves, we give our bodies to them, and they are gone. So sex is so powerful, it goes deeper than the surface level, than this flesh and what we see. And I think that's what young girls need to be taught before they get gray hair, before they're loved dumb over and over and over again, to know that that's you become one with someone else's soul when you become intimate with them. You are allowing them into that channel that gives life. And
Mm-hmm.
that is huge, to allow someone who usually doesn't give a damn about you into your channel of life. So when we decide to get married, the spirit of those men that we slept with. I used to think about this one, trust me, when I was in my early 20s, Ricki, when you're at the altar, every man that you slept with, that you gave your body to, the spirit of that man is standing right there at the altar with you. That is some scary stuff right there. So if young girls could know now that once you give your body, you've given your all. There's nothing else to give. The hunt is over. They've conquered you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try not to be loved on. So that's where the value of the vagina comes in. When you know your worth. Do you think you know your worth, Ricki?
I feel like I'm realizing my worth more and more every day when I like just challenging myself to just step outside of my comfort zones. That's when I really realize my worth and what I'm capable of.
Because we're always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen you evolve since this whole pandemic has been going on, since we've been in quarantined, and now with the protests going on and everything that's going on in the world. I noticed that you've been doing some things on Instagram. It's wonderful if we can take this time of quarantine to become a better us, to be better ourselves. So if we can come out of quarantine better than we went into quarantine, some self-growth, some self-development, that is wonderful. So I actually posted on my page one of your Instagram posts, and it was about valuing yourself. Why did you feel the need to start those Instagram posts, and what gave you the boldness to just be Ricki Semone and do all that motivation and inspiration? Why did you feel the need to use your voice in that way?
I just really felt a tug on my spirit, really. I realized that other than music, I have a real passion for just being of service to others and just letting people know that I'm alone and just giving certain calmness to people so they can be more compassionate with them. So
So do
that,
you feel like you're going to continue? How often do you do the Instagram posts, and do you think you'll continue doing them?
oh, yes, I'm definitely gonna continue because I feel like it's a part. It's just one small part of my purpose as a whole. So I I try to do one video once a week, but with all the protests and stuff going on, I've kind of just leaned more towards just supporting the Black Lives Matter movement and giving that more focus.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because the whole movement, I think it's important that you continue the Instagram post, because it gives some motivation to be all you can be. So once the protests are over, what do we have to give to show? Yes, just besides our color, Black Lives Matter, but our life matters. You know what I'm saying? For Blacks to step up and be a better you, to be a better University of Alabama student, to be a better Ricki Semone, to be a better Black woman, to be a better woman. So the whole movement to me is really getting my attention to be all that I can be, because it shows you how short life can be. It can be taken from us at any moment. So when you said it was tugging at your spirit, how do you know when something is tugging at your spirit? As a songwriter, you said the words just come to you. How do you know how do you know when it's time to make a move?
When I'm moving towards something in my, like when I music, to a point where it was hard to just get in the studio and just make a song when I wanted. So that's when I was like, okay, God, I've exhausted all possible resources to get this done. So what is my next direction? So that's when I kind of just gotta stop trying to make things work that aren't working and just figure out where my spirit is pulling me. What have I been holding back on that I can do now? What resources are available to me that I can use in this moment of my life? So,
Right. And that's good, because when you're talking about listening to the spirit, sometimes we fail to remember or to even realize that we are spirit beings. This flesh that we have, it's a casing for our aliveness, but we pay a lot of attention to the flesh and the physical body. But when something is stirring deep inside, like a woman's intuition, a woman's spirit, a woman's soul, that's the spirit of the creator. That's our creator that we don't always acknowledge or know. And that's that intuition also that tells us when we're being loved on, but we always ignore it.
yeah,
We always ignore it. So we make the choice to be loved on, because a man is only going to treat us how we allow them
yes,
to treat us. So if we continue going back and doing the same thing over and over and over, we show them a pattern. We show men a pattern. And this is for older women also, not just young girls. Some of us have not learned, Ricki. That's why I so admire the fact that you're 22 years old, but you acknowledge that you've been loved again since you wrote the song. But maybe you won't have gray hair before you finally say, okay, enough is enough. I know who I am as a woman. I know my value. I know my worth. I know the value of my vagina. I know my power, and I'm not going to give it away. So in that article, The Value of the Vagina, I talk about why we feel it necessary, or why we feel obligated to give ourselves when a man buys us a meal, or when a man does something nice for us or takes us out. We feel obligated, young girls more so than the older woman, feel obligated to give him something. Whereas that is an honor for a man. If you know your value, it's an honor for them to do that. And if I may be so bold, it's an honor to even be in your presence as a lady, because many men pursue you, but you chose to be with that one. So when you know what you bring to the table, and I'm probably sounding cocky, but You know, when you get in your 50s, you've got to get there. You got to reach that point where you know what you bring to the table. I saw a thing on Facebook that said, yes, I know what I bring to the table. I made the damn table. So you got to have that attitude where, yeah, I might think I'm all that in a bag of chips, but you can be humble with it because that's the way you were created. You now looking at your video, the cover, not your video, the cover of your single, it is beautiful. I love the purple. I love the look on your face. Was that all you? Was that all your idea? And how did you come up with that?
Yes, it was all me.
Wow.
Yes. How did I come up with it?
How many? Go ahead.
I knew I wanted the afro because the afro was just very powerful, you know, especially being a Black woman. I had to wear the afro.
I love that afro. I love you in an afro.
um, um, I wanted myself looking out because at that better place that we was talking about.
Okay.
And then the roses are a symbolism for growth. And I got
Okay.
3 is my favorite number.
3.
3 is my favorite number.
Where's the 3 at?
3 roses.
Oh, 3 roses. Okay, I was looking for your I wanted to show a picture of you with that afro. Now, you mentioned the roses. The roses represent what?
Growth.
Growth. Okay. Now, I got to show the cover of the Other Woman magazine. Now, most people see what they see, but this is the inside. It's just a close-up of a rose. It's a close-up of a rose. And the rose has the same reproductive system as a woman does. And a lot of people don't know that. And that is I actually reprinted it in the current issue, but in the debut issue, there is an article titled, "Is That a Vagina?" And it talks about the similarities of a rose reproductive system and a woman's. So the Other Woman magazine, it goes so much deeper than what people think it is. And I believe we have to go deeper into ourselves to understand who we are. So when it comes to men and dating, especially your age, they don't know themselves.
Yeah.
They're trying to get to know us when they don't know who they are. So you got, and we're still evolving at that age, still evolving, still trying to find out who we are. So you got 2 people who coming together, trying to make it work, and they don't even know who they are. They're trying to get to know each other. So the whole dating scene, they say you should date for marriage. Now, a lot of people don't agree with that, but if you're going to spend your time dating someone for years, those are years of your life. It should be for a goal.
Yeah.
Hopefully a common goal is to put a ring on it. So it's okay to date, but when you're being seriously committed to someone and then you find out, oh, this ain't working out for me, you know, that's probably the best thing that person can do for you is for them to break up with you or tell you, you know, this ain't working out. It's like, oh, God bless you. Thank you. Set me free so you can get back on the path to discover who you are. Because even as an older woman, I'm not dating anyone now. And for those who don't know me, I left a 20-year marriage. So I've been in my singlehood and enjoying my singlehood. But that peace you talk about, oh my goodness, Ricki, that is a peace that words cannot explain. So a lot of people say, when are you going to find somebody? First of all, I'm not looking for anyone. When are you going to get another relationship, or are you ready to meet someone? To bring all of that complication into my piece, I'm just not ready for that right now. And you sound like, from your song Love Dumb, that you already know that there's a better place without all the mess, without all the chaos. But when you get ready to get married, a happily married means the good times and the bad times. But you want to take time to get to know that person. So let me ask you, going back to Love Dumb and the guy that you wrote this song about, how long did you know him? How long were you all dating?
We were dating for a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
Mhm.
That's like 2 days in reality.
Yes.
But that is good. So you realized that, okay, this is not working out for me. He's not treating me like I want to be treated. And we've already said we can be loved and know that what you said, you hesitate knowing life is better without you. You also mentioned something about two lanes tripping. What is that? Or am I saying it right?
it was when it was when
Did I
that
say it
means
right? Two lanes tripping? Okay.
why you double back, staying 2 lanes tripping. He didn't want to be with me, yet he was still all in my business. So that's what that means. Like, why are you in 2 lanes tripping? I
Oh,
be with me. So that's
okay. Okay. And that's common. That's common. A guy once told me, you can't be mad at a man for being a man.
mm,
That's who they are. They may not want to be with you, but they don't want anybody else to have you. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I like that. So why you in two lanes tripping? If you don't want me, let me go. Don't try to be in my life or try to control my life or what I do with my life. Just let me go. What is that phrase? If you love something, set it free.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes back to you, it was yours. If it doesn't, it never was. I didn't really understand what that meant until I got older. And as cliche as it is, it's probably very true. Set them
Mm-hmm.
free. Because love, tell me if you agree with this, love is not about keeping someone constricted. It's not about control. It's about allowing that person to have the freedom to grow and to be who they are. Do you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I
Yes.
agree.
Okay. Tell everyone where they can get the song.
It's literally on all streaming platforms. Google Play, Spotify, Apple Music. It's on SoundCloud. If you don't want to buy it, it's on SoundCloud for free. And what else is it on? I can't even remember all the platforms, but every platform that is out there, I promise you, it is on there.
Okay. Every music platform. Do you have a way to track when people download it or when people listen to it?
Every month I can see how many streams it's gotten and how many downloads.
Okay. Now, going back to dating, and I like to talk about we never know what attracts one person to another person. You ever see a couple and you'd be like, oh my God, what in the world does he see in her? Or what does she see in him? Or you'll see a real tall person and a really short. It's like, oh my God, that is so odd. But you never know what attracts. My mother told me this. You never know what attracts two people together. That's that spirit again. So it's the spirit of the person that connects us to each other, not the flesh of what we see. And another thing that the other woman, I say we're going deeper in 2020. In the next issue, we're going to talk about the power of a woman's femininity. Our being feminine is a powerful thing. Men are attracted to that alone. Even though we want to adorn ourselves with makeup and hair and nails, and we'll even go as far as implant, they just want that woman. They want that woman. And if I can be as raw as I can, they want what that woman has. what that woman has to satisfy their needs. So we put a lot of work into our physical when it should be for us. It's usually for other women and for men. Now, I noticed a change in you recently. This is another part of growth that I noticed in you. Now, you got a beautiful head of hair. I know you like to sport that afro. You liked the whole makeup. Didn't you want to be a makeup artist at one time, or you dabbled in makeup or something? Okay, but I'm seeing more of the natural you. Now, I saw in one of your Instagram posts, you had just gotten out the shower and you did an Instagram live. You just got out the shower, no makeup on. It looked like your hair was wet. Was your hair wet? It was just natural you. You can pay some women to do that. So what gave you the courage and why did you do that?
I was the same way. Like, you could tell me to I just got out the shower. Like, that was not me. That was not me, not even 2 months ago. But it's just, I just knew that I'm never going to know my value, know my worth, really have confidence in my natural beauty until I challenge. That's the only way through practice. At least that's how I learn, how I grow.
So
So
you just took a chance at it.
yeah, I did it. And then
Did you second guess yourself? Did you hesitate at once and say, "Oh, I don't want to do this," or "I can do it"? No, I'm not going to do this. Did you go back and forth?
Yes, I was really hesitant because I've been wanting to do it for a while. Because I was like, how can I tell people to love themselves and to have confidence in themselves when I'm not even portraying that myself, when I'm not even getting up there with my natural hair and my natural face. So
Right.
I have to challenge myself. This is what I want to do. If I want to be inspiration, I gotta be and challenge myself and get out of my own comfort zone. So
That's good. That's good. And I guess you said you have to at least try it one time. At least try it one time. Isn't it? What's the musician's name, the singer, where she didn't wear makeup at all for like a month or two? She plays the piano. I can't think of her song. She had like a campaign of just not wearing any makeup.
Alicia Keys?
Yes, Alicia Keys. Yes, she did that. And she was trying to tell women to love their natural beauty, their natural selves. And going back to dating, yes, men like a well put together woman. They like a woman to look nice. At the same time, you can be walking with a man and looking very nice, and another woman can walk by and he will look at her. And that is the nature of a man. So I want to share with women, especially young girls, is to don't get upset when a man turns his head. Yes, it is disrespectful, and he should not do that when he's with you, but that's the nature of a man. They're visual beings and they're going to look. I remember someone said, "Hey, it's better than the alternative that they would be looking at another man." So you know what? So yeah, hey, if they're looking at a woman, that's a good thing. You know, you got 100% man. But we have to be secure enough in ourselves that that does not bother us. Because even when you say "I do," that doesn't mean that that man is going to stop looking and desiring other women. He's made a commitment to you, but he's still a man. He still desires to look at women. It's the whole respect thing, that they have to respect you. So we teach men how to respect us by how we respect ourselves.
Yeah.
We teach men how to treat us. So love dumb. You said so many things in love dumb. If you were before a group of women, say from high school to on up to my age and above, you had their full attention, what would you say? Ricki Semone, who wrote Love Dumb, who was loved dumb more than once, growing, evolving, trying to embrace her beauty, embrace her worth, what would you tell these women?
I would say you're going to be love dumb at least once. Like, in order to grow, I feel like heartbreak is one of the best experiences.
Yes, yes.
And don't go into every single relationship thinking that this is my soulmate, or this is going to be the man I'm going to marry, because that's how you get hurt. That's how you get hurt real bad. Just go into it as this is practice. And as you start to fine tune yourself and fine tune your standards and what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate, that's when you start learning more about yourself and learning more about your value. And another thing is that I always had expectations of what kind of I wanted to marry. I wanted somebody established. I want somebody who had money. But then I realized I can't even attract that kind of man if I'm not that person myself. So that's when I was like, I gotta get on my stuff. I gotta become that person that I want. And that's when I realized a lot of the things that I want inside of another man is the stuff that I ultimately have within myself.
Yes, you do. That's knowing our worth. That's knowing our potential. If you can get what you want out of life, or at least be on that route before you get married, because, sweetie, you young girls listening, once you get married and having babies, I'm not going to say it's going to come to a halt, but your dreams, they take a back seat. They're still in the car, but they're in the back seat because you have the role of a mother now. You got children to take care of. You got children to take to practices, to go to meetings. You got meals to cook. You got um, clothes to wash, a house to clean. Yes, there are many women who do it all, career and family, but striving to get it all, you definitely got to have a man that's going to support you. But if you can
Yeah.
get some of that stuff done before you get married, get your house, your own apartment, your own wheels and stuff, then you don't feel yourself depending. Now, men like to feel needed, but that's part of that femininity. Hey, I still need you. You can change my oil. You can put gas in my car. You can come over. I'll cook for you. So you have to know what you bring to the table, but don't expect a man to take care of you, because what happens if it doesn't work out and then you've depended on him for everything, and then you're left with what? Starting all over. So, and that's speaking from experience. Thank goodness I had a Navy career, my retirement to fall back on, because after 20 years, if I had continued to be a stay at home mother, and that was my choice, and homeschool the children, a lot of women are stuck in relationships, in marriages, because they cannot financially leave. They haven't financially prepared themselves because they depended on their husbands, which is good if a man is a provider, but have your education, have your CDs out, have your books written, be on that path. So at least they can see, okay, she ain't about dependent on me. She got her own thing going. That kind of makes them step up to the table, step up. Now you got to bring something a little bit different. You can't buy me a home. You can't buy me a car. I got my own jewelry. I got all this. Now you got to treat me like I want to be treated in order to stay in this. But we have to do the same. So I'm going to ask you another question. What would you tell that same group of women? Um, Like you said, you wanted a man that had this quality, that quality, and you realized you had it within yourself. What are some important qualities to look for in a man as a potential husband, as a potential mate?
Well, with me and being so love dumb so often, I know more about what not to look for now
Oh,
than what.
good answer.
So,
So
um,
what are you not looking for?
um, not just not being pressured into things that I don't want to do. Obsession, um, possession, insecurities,
Yes, yes, yeah,
abuse.
yeah.
So,
Yes, and I'm glad you said abuse because in the next issue of the Other Woman magazine, we have a gentleman that's writing on college sexual assaults, physical assaults that happens a lot in college
hmm
campuses that are never heard of, that are never talked about. It happens. So you mentioned the word being obsessive, and women, we can be needy sometimes, kind of clingy. We want your attention, but it goes back to knowing your value. And when that breakup comes, we like to listen to the sad songs. And the men know this because they see it on TV. The woman will get the big pint of ice cream and she'll sit there and call her friends over and be crying over this man. You know what? We have to accept the pain. Yes, it's going to hurt, but there are things that we can do to get out of that humdrum, that sad mood, acknowledge it. Okay, I'm in a breakup. I feel sad, but what can I do? There are chemicals in the brain. They're called happy pills. Endorphins are like happy pills. Do some exercise. Turn off that sad Luther Vandross or whoever and turn on some dance music. Find something to do. Get out of the house instead of being completely consumed, even if it's not a breakup. We fall in love and we are completely consumed with that man. We have no other thoughts but
yeah,
that man. There's a whole world out there. But that one little person has just rocked our world, and the world stops.
yeah,
Nothing but him. I'm not going to say that that is love dumb, but when you lose yourself to another person, now men get like that too. They just don't show it the way we do. They always portray the woman who has lost herself. It's just to remember who you are.
yeah,
Remember what you bring to the table. Like you already said, remember your value, your potential. You have to go, don't think about what's going on the outside of you and that man and the hurt and the pain. But when you go deep within yourself, when you find your center, when you find that spirit of the creator in you, that you have that living in you, that's enough to empower you and make you feel better. I've got the spirit of the living God, the spirit of the creator in me.
mhm,
Yes, I can conquer this feeling instead of being consumed by the pain and by this man. That's what works for me, is to go deeper. So instead of going on the outside and looking for something on the outside to bring me peace, to bring me happiness, and to bring me joy, and just out of that rut, I have to go within myself because that's where the happiness is. That's where the peace is. That's that better place that you talk about in Love Dumb. And I
yeah,
am so proud of you for putting your mess out there in the form of a song. Because I'm always saying, don't die with a book in you. Don't die with a song in you. Don't die with a poem in you. And you thank your parents for allowing you, because you were what, 20 years old? Looking for a recording studio. I'm sure you weren't doing this all by yourself. You had to have some kind of support to do this. So in closing, share how your parents felt about you writing a song, no less a song called Love Dumb, and how they felt about it and the support that you obviously got from them. Or was there some resistance? Did you feel like you had to convince them that you were taking this route?
No, I feel like I got an overflow of support from them. My mom, she's the one that took me all the way to Atlanta to record my first song. We booked a hotel.
And
And
where were you? On campus, Tuscaloosa, or
um, I was, you mean like what school I was going
you
to,
said
or
she
where?
took you all the way to Atlanta? All the way to Atlanta from where?
Where was I? I think I was. Yes, I was at University of Alabama.
Okay. Okay. So she took you all the way to Atlanta.
Hmm.
And I'm sure it wasn't just one time recording. You had to go back, or did you do it all in one trip?
I did it all in one trip, but that being my first time recording in a studio ever, going to Atlanta in a professional studio wasn't the best idea, just because I didn't have enough experience to do that yet. But it was still a great learning experience. I had to record Love Dumb a good 18 more times before I
Wow.
the way I wanted, just because that was my first song and it took so much, and I'm a perfectionist. So it was
Wow.
my parents, they supported me all the way through it. They're the ones that paid for my studio time. Every hour of studio time they paid for it. They were super duper supportive.
Wow. Wow. So as you continue to date and find your husband on your journey, make sure you get that same equal, if not more, support,
Yes.
because obviously your father has been a good example for you, for a man. That's in the next article also, on how fathers make such an impact on the choices that we make for men. That first father figure is a huge impact, a huge influence on our choices for man. So I am going to, you got any closing remarks? We could talk all day, all night, but I like Love Dumb because it goes right along with The Other Woman and going deeper. We're going deeper in The Other Woman magazine all of 2020 to get beneath the surface and to find out who that other woman is, not just knowing our value, but knowing who we are, going past what we see in the mirror, but going into ourself. So as you continue to evolve, Ricki Semone, as you continue to give your Instagram inspirational messages, tell them how they can find you on social media.
Um, my Instagram is Ricki Semone, RICK. Well, you see my name right there, but that's Instagram name. My Twitter, I also post inspirational quotes, inspirational thoughts. That is the Ricki Semone. Um, my Facebook is also Ricki Semone.
Okay. And what are your plans after college? First of all, tell us what you're majoring in.
My major is human development with a concentration in adolescence and youth.
Okay, okay. And where does the singing fall in? Is that like your backup singing, or is college your backup?
Uh, College is my backup. I'm
Okay.
just going with wherever God is taking me. I'm continuing to evolve. I'm continuing to grow and just walk with Him in my journeys so I can go wherever it is He wants me to go. I'm just continuing to do what He tells me to do.
Wonderful. And we are going to leave on that note and with Love Dumb playing. And you guys, you can download Love Dumb or listen to it on all music platforms. And thank you again, Ricki Semone. Check her out on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on Twitter also? Okay. All righty. You guys, thank you for tuning in. We're going to close with Love Dome. We're going to just let you listen to it. And you guys, thank you again. Have a good rest of your evening. And thank you, Ricki.
Now I'm cold again, and I still only want you. Still want you, only you. And I know you don't deserve me. Oh, how can I find peace of mind when you act like you want me around when I'm not around? This ain't easy, boy. This ain't easy. Let me know, just let me know what you want from me. What you want from me? 'Cause this ain't love, boy. You ain't dumb, boy. You ain't dumb. What you want from me? What you want from me? If this is love, what is it for? What is it for? Ooh, why you double back, stay in two lanes, tripping? Why you double back, stay in two lanes, tripping? Nobody's gonna see you fall. Why you double back, stay in two lanes, tripping? Why do I hesitate when I know life's better without you? It's not easy to explain, just know I can't wait to move on to a better place where I don't have to worry, escaping from the pain of falling deep in love with one who doesn't feel the same, where you don't have to worry if I'll be okay. Don't worry, love, I got you if we go our separate ways. Take me to a better place, a better place than this. Oh, take me to a better place, the better place I miss. Oh,